Well, now, let's have a little short talk here about the upcoming presidential election. Namely, this what's going on with Mr. Trump. I guess there's some breaking news out there. The Michigan State Supreme Court has said Trump gets to stay on the ballot. And the Colorado State Supreme Court 4-3 against Mr. Trump. He can't be on the ballot. This is sort of a Looney Tune court in Colorado, okay? Truth be told, I'm not a lawyer. I think I'd have made a good one, though, boys and girls. The state courts don't even really have any jurisdiction on this issue, in my opinion. What is being quoted by the Colorado Supreme Court, they're talking about the United States Constitution. They're not talking about the Colorado State Constitution. It was the U.S. Constitution that was talked about a lot in that trial. I watched some of this, with the Colorado State Supreme Court testimony. So what the Colorado State Supreme Court should have did is they should have just dismissed the case, saying the state doesn't have any jurisdiction. This is up to the federal government to take issue with this if there is an issue. And the federal government never charged former President Trump. They never even charged him with insurrection. That's what they should have did. And the Michigan State Supreme Court probably should have, I don't know what they said, but they should have, their decision was correct, but they should have said, yeah, the reason why we're making this decision, the state doesn't even have, they don't even have jurisdiction on this, okay? You can't have the United States of America made up of 50 states and have 50 different jurisdictions on an issue like this, okay? Does that make any sense? If we're going to remain the United States of America, you can't have this. Any state Supreme Court justice ought to realize this. Now, I'm saying this for a reason, and I'm going to give you an example here of what could happen, okay? Now, let's just suppose the United States Supreme Court doesn't weigh in on this issue and reverse the Colorado decision. And let's even go one step farther and say California, Let's say they follow suit with Colorado and they throw them a little action together, and their state Supreme Court in Colorado says, well, Trump, he's off the ballot. So now you have two states, but you could only have one. You could wind up with multiple states. But let's say the Supreme Court never weighs in on this prior to the primary or the election period, general election. Okay? But let's say Trump is probably not going to win California. He may not win Colorado, but he could still be elected through the Electoral College. So let's say Trump gets elected. And lo and behold, here's California has an earthquake. Well, you know what presidents do during natural disasters, right? What do? It's the president that declares the emergency status for a state. Now, they can actually declare status for counties within a state for federal aid. Well, what if President Trump said, well, I wasn't on your ballot. Nobody got to vote for me in your state. I guess you're on your own. How about that? How you like that? You all can go to your state Supreme Courts and find all the aid you can find. You see how this works? That's why you can't have these 50 different state jurisdictions on this issue. Because you'll have different opinions. I'm not even going to say who's right and who's wrong. Okay? But that's how this works. I mean, we could drum up an excuse and take Biden off the ballot in states. You know, the people around the world, you know, they're watching us and they're watching this garbage that what Colorado did. How about let the people decide? Let the people decide. That's what this is supposed to be all about, right? Not some jurist sitting behind some fancy lectern or whatever they sit behind and make these decisions. Let the people decide. That's probably the best jury you can have. Imagine that, 200 plus million person jury pool. Beats the hell out of 7 justices sitting on a bench in Colorado, don't it? You know, the strangest part about this Colorado decision, this is sort of a landmark decision that they made. And what I mean by that, this has never been done before. This has never even really been approached before. Yet the best they could come up with is a 4-3 decision. Not a 6-1, not a 7-0. Well, why would you want to have such a blurred line decision on such an important issue? Makes absolutely no sense, okay? And we're not talking about like what happened with Bush v. Gore. In Bush v. Gore, people had already voted. The results had already been reported. Here, they're deciding an election before a vote is even cast. So there you go. A little talk there, maybe a little political talk. But yeah, that Colorado State Supreme Court, you know, there's 4 judges on that. They're not too swift. I don't think they've thought about the long term, you know, for their citizens of their state. What I'm talking about could very well happen. You never know. Stranger things have happened. I hope you enjoyed.